I'm Hanes, white cotton underwear, and this is REKT.
Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host Crypto Chamber. Chamber, how you doing? It is voting day in Canada, huh?
It is. I voted a couple hours ago. Did my part.
You wrote me in, didn't you?
I did. Bunchu Bets.
Prime Minister at Bunchu Bets.
Yeah, at Bunchu Bets. What up? Hashtag financial advice.
I'm coming for you, Canada.
Yeah, no, we have. I always laugh with how many choices we have. Like we have like 3 major parties, technically 4 with the Green Party, but you know they don't get too many. Don't get too many votes or don't get too many seats. I won't get into the parliament aspect of it, but we have like 3 major ones. But you guys basically have 2, and then. If any crazy independent wants to do something, right? Is that what it works out to be?
Yeah, it's basically Republican, Democrat, and John McAfee.
That's nice. That's a good option.
There you go. By the way, is some breaking news there.
Yeah.
Well, we may be having them back, correct?
Janice just wrote us a nice email. Yeah, it sounds like it. I don't know when, but in the near future, I would imagine. So the return of McAfee to REKT Podcast will happen, and alongside his lovely wife Janice. So. Yes, that's what I'm excited for. I always like getting the.
I like how you put it in the email. We've been long awaiting the Janice show.
The Janice show, yeah, that was just a warm up. The John show was just a warm up to the main, the big show, the Janice show.
Yes.
So no, she was very nice. We'll figure something out, but. There was they just want a breakdown of what we're going to be using and all that fun stuff, and they wanted notes on the show, and I didn't have the heart to tell them we don't really do notes.
Well, it sounds like they got bombarded with emails after that.
I'm sure they did.
And so, we could just be like, hey, refer to this episode.
Yeah, DMT and bath salts?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. So.
I don't know. So, yeah, that'll be fun. I've always, I don't know about you. You're in sales and as I, and I've always had better luck talking to women in the workplace.
It's because you're a charmer.
I think I have more of a feminine vibe. I'm not a
me too. Well,
I'm not very uber masculine.
I actually mostly in my role now call on essentially women because I'm working in nursing homes and home health agencies. And
that you want to talk about my wheelhouse?
Yeah.
You like older ladies is my wheelhouse.
Oh, that's me too. Yep.
Don't even mess around. Like that's. I mean, if I could only just work with elderly women.
Yep.
I would be a billionaire. I think by now.
Which is essentially what I do. So
that's nice. I would be happy. Older men. As men get older, we just get more and more awful and whiny, and it's not fun. And women just seem cooler as they get older for the most part.
Yeah, like a fine wine. We turn into vinegar.
That's right.
Anyway, so we've got some good stuff for you today. We had a guest lined up, but there were some technical difficulties, so that guest will be joining us on our Thursday show. So in the meantime, we're going to get into some fun stuff here. As you know, if you are a listener to the show, we have been talking lately about Halloween and candy and everything like that. And Chamber was kind enough to send me some Canadian Halloween candy, which came in the mail. I tweeted it out the other day.
We had a lot of participation on that tweet too.
Sure did. That blew up. Yeah,
that was probably one of the most engagement we've had in a while.
It turned into like chip talk too, like potato chip talk.
Yeah.
But so I have all 8 varieties of candy here that he sent me. I will be eating them throughout the course of the show and giving my rankings at the end, and we'll compare them to Chamber's ranking. So I'm gonna. So out of if those, if you hear me chewing, that's why. So Chamber, if I'm still have candy in my mouth, you're just gonna have to carry the show tonight.
Not a problem. But out of the 8 candies, I think only one of them is available in the U.S. Correct?
Correct. I've never seen 7 out of 8 of these. And
that's pretty impressive. I didn't realize.
I'm actually going to start with the one I know, just because it's an old standby. You can't go wrong starting with this, and that would be Kit Kat. So I'm starting here with the Kit Kat. Everybody knows a Kit Kat, So it's nothing. There's nothing especially Canadian about this. Kit Kat.
No. And I mean, you would know the flavor is about the same from what you can tell.
It's a standard operating Kit Kat.
Now I don't know about you, but a few years back, Kit Kat came out with the bar, the single thick Kit Kat bar. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the better of the Kit Kat. I would much rather go with the one.
It's the Escalade of Kit Kat.
Right, exactly. I would rather go with that one than the 4. What about you? Are you on the same boat there?
I think I am, actually.
That's a quality bar. That is quality bar. But again, I won't turn down a 4-pack, a 4-piece pack of Kit Kat.
The best part about these is the ones you sent me. They're all fun size too.
Of course.
So they're easy to eat live on podcast.
It's nice. That is nice. They're podcast friendly, bite sized pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So let's get into it.
While you're enjoying that, I have something to tell you. I have a recommendation for you.
Oh my!
I was.
I was going to say let's get into our recommendations here.
Right. So last night, I turned on El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. I've watched Breaking Bad. I want to say at least 3 times. So I've been pretty anxiously awaiting this.
I've watched it twice.
Yeah, I mean I still think. I've gone back and watched other shows. I've recently rewatched Lost and Dexter and 6 Feet Under, I think. And, I've watched a few different quality shows multiple times. I think at the end of the day, Breaking Bad's still the number 1 for me. It's very difficult to beat. And I will give El Camino, I'm going to give it a B+.
That's pretty good.
It's better than what I wanted. Yeah, I would say it's a B+. I don't know what the reviews have been on it, but I mean, it checked all the boxes. It's a 2-hour movie. It's not another season. You know what I mean? It's not like 10 hours worth of a season. You can only do so much, but I don't want to spoil anything. You get some visits from previous characters. There's little Easter eggs.
Does it advance the story at all? Or it's a prequel, right?
No. It's a postquel.
Is it a prequel? It is.
No, it's a sequel.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, no, it continues the story a little bit. So this is Jesse after how it's kind of funny. So I don't know when the last episode was. I feel like it was 6 or 7 years ago.
Yep.
Like when the season or when the series finished. So what happens is you see it from the perspective of him leaving at the end of in the series finale of Breaking Bad. Walter goes in, jacks everybody up with his trunk machine gun, and at the end you see Jesse hop in a car and basically boot it. And you're basically going from that point on. The funny part is Jesse Pinkman looks significantly older, and I wouldn't say fatter, but his face is definitely fatter. Like he's not fat by any stretch of the imagination, but his face, I don't know what happened to his face. He kind of looks like when baseball players do too much juice, their head gets too big.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that kind of thing's going on with him. I'm not exactly sure, but it's noticeable. There's a couple of scenes where they do some flashbacks where he's Jesse Pinkman, like freshly out of high school, and I'm like, it is,
and it doesn't play.
It is noticeable. But I would say it doesn't hurt the story. It only adds to the story. There's the good Easter eggs. It's good. I think it's a fine 2-hour piece of addition, I would say, to the Breaking Bad canon.
I am the one who cocks. I've been waiting to use that one all day.
That's nice. Well, I bet you have.
I've been waiting to use that all day.
So, are we going to talk about this a little bit? How was your morning?
It was graphic, I would say. If you live on Twitter like we do.
Yeah. You were woken up on Monday with some images maybe you didn't want to see first thing in the morning.
With a rooster.
With a rooster, that's right. with a little rooster. We're obviously.
Let's just put it this way: CEOs of coins should not be sending dick pics to people.
Sending these to unsuspecting women or men, but it's got to stop. I think they should be consensual. I should probably pivot to the cartoon. What's the cartoon on Netflix that we like to watch now?
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. Thank you. Did you see the dick pic etiquette episode?
Yeah.
So, dick pic etiquette determines whether or not you should be sending a dick pic, and I think the only way you have to is when you hit a cleavage pic. Is that correct? So unless Gunny can provide some sort of cleavage pic that he received first, I think unfortunately these pics were not recommended to send. I would say.
I still also I'm not sure that cleavage warrants directly to.
I think this was cousin
DP,
cleavage, by the way.
It
was cousin cleavage.
In that episode, it was.
Yeah, it was cousin cleavage.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so the picture obviously made him look like Walter White. So
he did. Well, I was confused. I wasn't sure if it was Walter White, and I was trying to, put a little silver lining around it because, Hero kind of tanked a little bit today. I don't know where it finished the day, but it felt a little bit of pain because of it. I think he shut down his Twitter account. That was the other thing I noticed.
I think he just changed his handle.
Oh, is that what he did?
Yeah.
So smart. But some of these hilarious people on Twitter were nonstop making me laugh. What was your favorite GIF of the day?
It was yours.
Mine. I was going to say that mine was pretty good. I thought, again, I was going to say, just trying to find a silver lining here or maybe an excuse why he sent it. And I said, well, maybe he's just sending his Halloween costume for this year. And I couldn't figure out if he was trying to be Walter White or Kramer, the underwear model. And it might be both. Who knows?
That's what I mean. I am the one who cocks.
He is the one who cocks. But my favorite one was, somebody had posted, I'm going to get his name. His name is Cooper? No, Cooler Esquire. So at COOLERESQ. He had a hilarious pic of Commissioner Gordon, of Batman, with the picture behind him of this morning's picture behind him, and it says, not the hero CT needed, but the hero CT deserved. And I thought that was pretty on point. I thought that one was pretty good. So shout out to Cooler Esquire. Yeah. So anyways, that's enough of that for now.
Yeah. So before we get into news here, candy update. I have eaten the second and I'm on my third candy here. The second one I did was a candy called Arrow. And what it is if you like chocolate, like a chocolate bar, Arrow has decided to make a chocolate bar, but less. So they've just filled the space with little air bubbles. So it's kind of like a knockoff Crunch bar, except less. There's nothing in it. Like it's just air and chocolate.
Do you like chocolate bars? Would you like less of them?
Yeah.
Eat an Arrow.
Yeah, like chocolate, want less, eat an Arrow.
Yeah.
The third one I'm on here is...
What are you on now? Yeah.
Smarties.
Okay.
So Smarties are like, I'm just going to put this on the record here, better M&Ms.
Oh my goodness, that is exactly the answer I wanted, because I've been on this bandwagon for a long time. Here in Canada, there is, I would say it's a 50-50 split whether you eat M&Ms or you eat Smarties, because they're equally available everywhere. And yeah,
so Smarties are by Nestle.
You can get a Smarties McFlurry at McDonald's. That's pretty good. That's usually my go-to. I get the Smarties McFlurry. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear the better than M&Ms.
I think they are. They remind me of like the Cadbury chocolate eggs, like because there's like solid chocolate Cadbury eggs with like the hard candy coating. That's what it reminds me.
Right. And the other thing too, I'll have both in the house, and sometimes when I make pancakes, for the kids, I'll put some in. And is M&Ms melt in your mouth, not in your hands? Is that their slogan? Yes. That's some bullshit right there. I'm going to call them out right now, because as soon as I mix M&Ms into pancake batter, all of the color comes right off. Yeah. If I do it with Smarties, it just stays the same color.
M&M, if you're listening, you have just been called out.
Yeah, you've been put on blast, M&Ms.
All right, let's get into some news. Chamber, start us off here with a news story.
I have a story here. I think I'm going to go with this one. This is from the blockcrypto.com. And our friends over at Binance, I don't know anybody there. I don't know why I said friends. But this is breaking news. Binance.com to add fiat pairs starting with Russian rubles in about 2 weeks. So Binance.com, the largest crypto-to-crypto exchange, is preparing to add support for trading between fiat and crypto, starting with Russian rubles. I always think Russian rubles is a funny word. Russia, you should look at. It's
fake.
I think you should look at changing the name of your currency, because rubles just sounds too hilarious. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao, or CZ, announced the news at the Open Innovations Conference in Moscow on Monday, saying in about 2 weeks or so, we should have support for Russian rubles trading directly. So you will be able to buy cryptocurrency on Binance.com using rubles. So just last week on October 16th, Binance quietly added the euro and the GBP as pairs on the application, also with API interface as well. Binance intended to launch a fiat to crypto exchange in Russia earlier this year, among other countries. So far, the exchange has launched 4 international fiat to crypto exchanges in Uganda, Jersey, Singapore, and the U.S. Is Jersey a country?
I think it is.
I would say I'm a pretty worldly guy. I have never heard of the country Jersey.
I'm pretty sure it is, and New Jersey should also be a country. Its own separate. We're kind of our own thing.
Well, I was going to say, Nick, you were off on the last show, but Nick was originally from Jersey. Nick from Divi Project. And he had some pretty good New Jersey stories. I figured you would have been key for that one. Yeah. I think maybe we'll have him back on. We were talking before the show.
Should.
Nick was a super good guy. Big fan of his. So maybe we'll have him back on the show on a later date. But
cool.
Yeah, I think you should make it. Yeah, you Jersey boys will be able to talk all sorts of hometown stuff. I'm sure that I won't be able to follow.
Yeah, because it's our own thing, our own country.
Exactly. You're from the country of Jersey.
Exactly. I ate a crispy crunch from Cadbury.
Now we're getting into the real deal stuff.
Yeah. This one is very good. Now this is the one I think reminded me of a Butterfinger.
That would make sense to me. That's very Butterfingery.
So it basically is like a Butterfinger.
Again, this is just I haven't had too many Butterfingers in my life, but I thought Crispy Crunch would have been a thinner, maybe a little bit harder than Butterfinger.
See, I think it's a little softer. But Butterfingers are pretty hard.
Are they? Okay. See.
Yeah, and they like stick to your teeth.
Oh, that's the worst.
Depends on who you ask.
I'm a big Crispy Crunch fan. That's usually one of my go-tos.
All right, my turn here.
What do you have for news?
I got something here from CoinDesk. Just kind of an update we talked about last week. And this article is by Anna Baydakova from CoinDesk.
Right. Yeah.
Classic
Anna
Baydakova. Yeah. Not to be confused with Anna Kournikova, the tennis player.
Different person altogether.
Yes. So we spoke about the SEC quite a bit last week, and one of the stories was about them shutting down the Telegram ICO. So there's kind of an update here. The last thing we talked about was that Telegram had said they were talking to the SEC, or attempted to talk to the SEC, for 18 months. This article says that the SEC's court hearing on Telegram token is delayed until next year. So Telegram is going to have to wait to make its case in the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission that its Gram token is not a security. According to the latest court filing, the hearing on the case has been postponed until February 18th and 19th, 2020, which it was supposed to happen this week, October 24th.
Wow.
Yeah, the judge in the case.
Huge blow.
Yeah, huge. I would say like a ton.
Like a ton. Like a metric ton.
A metric ton. The judge in the case, Kevin Castle, ruled that Telegram should not distribute its tokens before that date. So they are basically saying, do not go forward with this until we have this court date, and not until the court makes a decision on the case. So earlier this week, Telegram committed to delaying the launch of the TON blockchain project and Gram issuance to the investors until April 30th, 2020. So it's had time to deal with the SEC. So
that's when investors will get their tokens? Is that what we're saying?
At the very earliest now, yes.
Very earliest. So let's say summer. Let's
more realistically, probably.
Are we saying that investors have waited like 3 years for their tokens?
Yeah, and something that's probably going to be ruled security, and they're going to lose all their money. It says, in a court filing and emails to TON investors, Telegram disagreed with the SEC that the Grams are securities, expressing frustration over the agency's late motion to halt the October launch. So, they kind of do have a point there. Like, look, this thing's been going on for 18 months. If they really did try to attempt to talk to the SEC or any of this, the SEC stepped in, a month before the law it was supposed to launch, because it says here on October 11th, the SEC obtained an emergency restraining order to halt the launch of TON.
Jeez.
Yeah, so... as it postponed the launch, Telegram further offered investors a chance to approve the date change, adding that if the majority of Gram holders disagree with the delay, they'll receive 77% of their investment back.
Ooh,
interesting.
Only a 33% haircut. That's not bad.
So they're giving you an out, really. That would you? Okay, so
yes.
Are you taking that?
Yes. 100%.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know about you, but every single one. I wish all my altcoins are only down 33%.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if I'm... I guess it depends on how much I invested, obviously. Right. But...
I don't know. That's tough. Who knows? I'd probably keep it, actually. I'm not smart enough to cut my losses.
I know you would, but... Yeah.
What should they do? They should probably cut their losses. I don't know.
You think they should?
It could be one of those, like, Telegram could be one of those that could be huge. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's some, scammy ICO. It's a pretty big product.
Yeah.
Already. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't. I could be convinced either way. Is basically what it comes down to.
I'd probably take my chances, I would take my money back, I think.
Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
I think it depends on how much it was, because again,
say you invested,
if it's $1,000 bucks, I'm letting it ride. If it's $10,000, I'm probably taking my $7,000 or
77
$8,000.
Yeah, less capital gains losses. So,
it would be losses. So you'd actually be able to claim that as a loss.
Exactly. Right? It might be a little bit better, but. Yeah,
I'm not sure how that would work, because you never got tokens, so technically you never bought anything.
I'm sure there's some sort of legal paperwork you have to sign to get your token or to get the 77% as well. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would think. I don't know. Weird, but I think I'm taking my money back.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right,
But,
you got the last one here?
I do have the last one. I'm going to go with, you did the SEC one. I'm going to go here from, this is from Cointelegraph. Bitmain launches the world's largest Bitcoin mining facility in Texas. They always say things are bigger in Texas.
Sorry, I got my mouth full of Mr. Big. I'm eating Mr. Big right now.
That's a great product placement. Everything is bigger in Texas, even the Mr. Bigs.
I am eating a Mr. Big.
I was telling you earlier, the tagline for Mr. Big candy bars in the 90s was, when you're this big, they call you Mr. Should Texas change their state slogan to everything's bigger in Texas to, when they're this big, they call you Mr. I
when
think
you're
that's
this big, they call you Texas.
Texas. I think that's the better one.
I think that's a great slogan.
When you're this big, they call you Texas.
Yeah.
So wow, that is. You know what? We're gonna have to go to who's the governor of Texas. We should really. We'll tag them in this one and really get the ball moving on this one.
I'm gonna look that up while you're.
So, again, this is from Cointelegraph. Chinese cryptocurrency hardware manufacturer Bitmain has opened what it claims is the largest facility for Bitcoin mining in Rockdale, Texas. In a news release published today, Bitmain revealed the project had been completed together with Rockdale Municipal Development District and Canadian technology firm DMG Blockchain Solutions.
Oh, are you familiar?
I am not.
Come on, man.
I don't know everybody in Canada.
Why? There's like 10 people.
I know like the majority of them, okay?
You have no friends.
I have 0 friends. It's not what my Twitter says.
Wait, oh yeah. Can we talk about that after?
Of course.
All right,
of course we will. The pledge here is to boost the local economy. The news release places a strong emphasis on working with the local economy of Rockdale, which is located in Milam County, east of Austin. The facility currently developed to a current 25 megawatts, I'm assuming is MW, capacity, with a 50 megawatt facility remaining under construction. Sits on 33,000 acres and can expand to a capacity of over 300 megawatt in the future. Now, is that as much as a gigawatt? Do we know? Is that more than like 1.1 gigawatts?
Yeah, it's. I think
I'm just trying to figure out if they can go back
bigger.
to the future.
Yeah, no,
okay.
it's.
Can they have the technology
sure.
to go into the 1985?
Yeah, no, they have the power.
Okay.
Definitely.
They do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure. So this is
so like
this
a megawatt is
compatible.
5 watts to the power of 7.
Is that? Did you just look that up, or do you know that?
Because
that's a weird thing. All right, I was gonna say that's a super weird thing to know.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
All right, good. So, yeah, that's good. I think. I mean, power must be.
So did you just randomly talk about bring up Back to the Future?
Yeah, 100%.
Did you know that today is Back to the Future Day?
Okay, I'm gonna go on the record and say something here. I didn't know today was Back to the Future Day.
You didn't,
but I feel like I hear it a couple of times a year that it's Back to the Future Day. So what? Is this the day that they go to the future in October 21st, 2019, or why? Or is this the day it was released, or what? Why is it Back to the Future Day?
October 21st. So it's just the date.
Okay.
So October 21st is the date on the
flux capacitor, or on the
yes.
I see.
So it's where they are going from October 26th, 1985 to October 21st, 2015.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. I think it was.
Yeah, so the destination time is your.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I see. All right. What was your favorite Back to the Future? Mine's always been 3.
Mine, I would probably say the first one, but my greatest memory of Back to the Future is not actually the movie. It was when my parents took us to like Universal Studios or whatever it was, and there was Back to the Future, the ride.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so sick.
I think I was there during that time as well. Yeah, I remember Back to the Future, the ride. So yeah, I think I was there. That would have been what, like 90?
Yeah,
like
sometime in the
94,
90s.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I was there. But yeah, big fan, big Back to the Future fan. Is that were you a big ride guy growing up? Did
I
you
would
go
say
to Six Flags and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say I'm ride or die.
I'm just die.
So like it's actually funny, like when I was growing up, until I was actually for the longest until I was like in my late 20s, just randomly everywhere I lived had a Six Flags nearby.
Really?
So yeah, Jackson, New Jersey had a Six Flags. I moved out to Gurnee, Illinois, had a Six Flags. Then I moved to, when I started working for the beer company, lived next door to Springfield, Massachusetts, had a Six Flags.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I did a lot of Six Flags growing up.
No, we have one. It's called Canada's Wonderland. It's pretty great. But yeah, we just have one. So if you live basically outside of Ontario, you're fucked. You don't get any rides at all.
That's brutal.
You get
I'm eating a caramel.
So
I'm balls deep in a caramel right now.
So the big thing with caramel was how do they, like, it's always been like, you know how like KFC's got the secret recipe and nobody wants to give it up kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Apparently there's the same thing with caramel, and it's how do they get the caramel inside the caramel? I'm like, I feel like it's fairly easy to figure this one out.
Yeah, I don't feel like that. I mean, it's not a crazy shape. Like,
but yes, this was their marketing campaign forever.
Like it seems like a standard like boilerplate.
Two pieces of chocolate, right? Flipped upside down. Flip upside down. You pour the caramel into the one side. You put the top on the other side.
Cover the other,
and then melt it together.
That's it.
Straight up, secret solved.
But yeah, that was times up there in Canada.
Like 20 years of this. I'm telling you, 20 plus years of marketing of like how do they get the caramel inside the caramel bar? Yeah, it seems like I remember being like 8 years old. I'm like, I think I got this, guys.
That's funny.
Awesome. All right. How do you feel about the caramel?
I'm a big fan of like so this is a, kind of an old school type of bar. It's just chocolate and caramel.
Exactly. In
two little like square bricks put together. Right. So, high on my list because I'm a big chocolate and caramel guy. So.
It's good, in my opinion, it's good chocolate and good caramel.
Well, it's Cadbury, correct?
It is, yeah.
So that was what I was saying too. It's like we have Cadbury in the States.
You do, that's right. I thought you did, yeah.
They could put all these out.
I don't see why not.
They're
good.
But, all right, so our last story here is kind of different, but we saw this today and thought it was pretty cool. So just wanted to chat about it. We're big sports fans. I'm more of a football, baseball, college basketball kind of guy, hockey. Chamber's big on the NBA. So I saw this story and I sent it to him. And it comes from ESPN.com, from the NBA.
Yeah, this is from, I think Kevin Arnovitz wrote this one, eh?
Is that who it is? Yes, so. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So the title is How Investing $150K in Spencer Dinwiddie Would Actually Work. Do you know Spencer Dinwiddie?
I know. Yes, I know Spencer Dinwiddie.
Okay.
I mean, he would be a, maybe like a C-level star in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. The name is familiar to me.
Like, yeah, I mean, he's a starter for a subpar basketball. He might not actually even be a starter. He's like a sixth man or a starter on a subpar basketball team.
Are you calling the Nets subpar?
Well, they're not par.
I guess that would leave subpar.
They are not par.
All right. So essentially the idea of this is, it's a longer story, so I'm not going to go into all the details. But basically, Dinwiddie went to Colorado for college basketball. He became buddies with his one of the guys that he played basketball with there, Jeremy Adams, and they played basketball together. And they share an enthusiasm for the world of blockchain technology and entrepreneurial spirits. So I think it's pursuits. So I think it's interesting that, I think we're seeing this more and more in sports with these athletes that are, I would say just like us, Chamber.
No different. I don't see any difference whatsoever.
No.
Just like us. Uninformed with a lot of money.
Taking blockchain.
Yeah, we just don't have a lot of money. We're just uninformed. But yeah, I don't know. He seems like, I couldn't imagine what it would be like being a professional star, whether it's baseball, basketball, football. You would be bombarded with business opportunities and people coming to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, So I have to imagine that some of these guys, like some of them are, utterly useless when it comes to money, but I would have to imagine some of these guys are pretty savvy,
I would say
a bit more savvy.
This gentleman sure seems it, right? So he talks about, how Dinwiddie isn't just into investing. He is a guy with more holistic interest in how money works, how it is valued and transferred in an economy, and how you make markets more inclusive. And what's a cool way to bring liquidity to an illiquid or unrealized sector. So we talk about liquidity all the time, right? So on that last question there, it says here, Dinwiddie realized that the next step in his entrepreneurial journey was to create a financial instrument that would allow him and other athletes to fully maximize their upside. Why not just be the investment vehicle, basically, allowing people who believe in that athlete to cash in when he makes good on potential? And with that, Dinwiddie decided that in addition to being an NBA combo guard, he's also going to fulfill a new dream of being a debt security. So,
was he a young lad? Be like, oh,
yeah. What do you want to be when you grow up? Spencer Dinwiddie? A debt security.
I'm sorry, what?
I want to be a debt security. Okay, Spencer.
All right.
If you believe in yourself, one day you could be a debt security too. So this idea it's not the first time people have tried to do this, right? So in the article, it talks about the idea of athletes or celebrities trying to securitize their talents. It has like precedent. In 1997, musician David Bowie worked with an investment bank to sell Bowie bonds, where investors were paid a fixed annual return of 7.9% over 10 years for bonds that were backed by David Bowie's intellectual properties. In other words, like his recordings and songs and his rights to royalties. Frank Thomas, Chicago White Sox player.
My favorite baseball player as a young lad.
Yeah, he was great. And now he's like peddling dick pills on TV.
Is he?
Yeah. He's selling
the big unit?
That's what they should be called. They're called something different, like eugenics or something. But yeah, it's basically a testosterone pill. And he tried to securitize his contract in 1998, but the plan got hung up over skittishness about the clauses in his deal that would nullify contract for like non-sports injury related things or player strikes. So with that, Dinwiddie is planning to offer what he has named Professional Athlete Investment Token, or paint.
He doesn't even play in the paint. He's a perimeter player.
You go hard in the paint, or you don't go at all. And he says he's going to launch it as soon as this week. And the offering has a minimum investment of $150,000, and it's only available, here's the catch, to accredited investors on a new platform that he hopes that will eventually host dozens of athletes who follow his lead. The NBA has taken issues with Dinwiddie's efforts. The two have begun debating on whether issuing a paint would violate the league's collective bargaining agreement.
It will.
Yeah, it probably will, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So in the big picture here, the token would be essentially a proof of concept for like a larger objective. So he wants to create basically athletes as a new asset class that would allow fans or anyone else to invest in players like you would in the stock market.
Right.
So basically a treasury bond, a real estate, or crypto, same thing.
As a kid, did you have like a guy that you're like, this is like whether it's a baseball player, football player, whatever, and people were talking shit to you about this person, and then you ended up being very, very right about them? Like basically, like who would you put money on as a kid, like invested into their potential?
Well,
that would have paid you essentially.
Not necessarily that, like they were saying, like I was saying that he was going to be better than people thought, but like obviously growing up, Derek Jeter was the hottest thing,
right,
for me as a Yankee fan, and
but he was pretty. Yeah, he was like.
Yeah, he was
out
a
of
popular
the gates,
guy
pretty
anyway. But like, man, I can't really think of
like.
One
I remember talking.
I mean, I guess like Saquon Barkley now, because I watched him play at college, right?
Right,
and
exactly.
He wasn't really on anyone's radar at the time, and so I'm watching him play games, and I'm like, dude, this kid is going to be sick.
As a destroyer of worlds.
He became the second overall pick in the draft,
really?
And now he's like considered one of the best in the league now. So I would say him.
When the Lakers got Kobe back in like '96, like I remember watching him immediately and be like, okay, this guy's going to be like. I remember talking like this guy's going to be better than Jordan.
So you're taking credit for Kobe Bryant.
His excellence, yes, that's partially my involvement. Yeah, it's 100% accurate. I remember just talking all sorts of shit, and people would throw it in my face. I remember when Vince Carter came out, like a couple years after Kobe. Everybody was saying like Vince Carter was going to be better. I'm like, you guys are insane. And then Kobe slowly started winning championship after championship, and when he surpassed Michael Jordan for total points. Like in the back end of his career like I remember getting phone calls from people like from my youth like, yeah, you were right. I'm like, yeah, I was right. Never forget it.
Oh my God, you're crazy. All right, so back to this story here. So basically he wants to offer a debt issuance to accredited investors that would be backed by his earnings in the 21-22 season. So it's got a lot of characteristics of like a typical bond, but it's different. So the minimum investment, I said again would be in the token. So basically one token costs you $150,000, and he's offering a maximum of 90 tokens for purchase that would represent $13.5 million, or around 40% of his 3-year, $34 million contract with Brooklyn. Wow, that's a pretty sizable contract.
Man, so people are making shitloads of money in the NBA right now. I keep seeing these contracts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking right now. Like Arvydas Sabonis. You've heard of that? So
of course.
He's got a son that plays in the NBA now. He was like I think he was like a 20th overall pick. He just signed a 4-year, $77 million. Like these people are making like so much money in the NBA now. Like it's I think it's the most out of any professional sport right now. Like Buddy Hield just signed a 4-year, $100 million. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So then it says here, okay, I'm an accredited investor and happen to have 150 to invest. Like, how does it work? So essentially you're buying a digital token that will live as digital currency on a blockchain. And, it says, in other words, you're loaning Dinwiddie $150,000 that he promises to pay back in 2 years, backed by his contract, obviously. He says that there will likely be an interest rate in the range of 2.5%. So that would mean the initial $150,000 investment would earn you $3,750 over the next year, paid either quarterly or biannually. Year 3 is when the token matures and things get interesting for both Dinwiddie and you. Dinwiddie is performing his own personal revenue sharing of his individual post-tax 2021 basketball-related income. So he said this will be done at a 60-40 split, and that 40% will be paid out to investors. And so, because then it says here, this is interesting, because Dinwiddie owns a player option for the 21-22 season, that's a great deal of elasticity. So let's say he continues his upward trajectory over the next 2 seasons and opts out of his current deal with the Nets. If the new contract plus additional income pays him a total of $20 million, his taxes and related expenses run 50% of his income, you would receive your original principal of $150,000 back plus an additional $52,934. So in the end, after 3 years, you'd have earned 10.6 annually over the term of the investment.
You know what's seriously in play now, though, with these NBA contracts, specifically the NBA, is all this China FUD that's happening, like with.
Hey, it's just like crypto, baby.
It's no different, baby. It's all crypto. China FUD will get you in the end. No, but seriously, like the salary cap went through the roof over the last couple of years when they signed their new TV deal, and a lot of that had to do with the Chinese market. And who knows? Like once that, like I think that one's up in maybe another year or two. That particular TV contract. Who knows what's going to happen? Because that's huge. Like they're trying to get stuff going in India, China. Are the 2 big, out of North America countries that they're trying to pull focus to. But yeah, I don't know. I completely understood the 2 sides of the coin when it came to what LeBron James was saying or not saying when it came to that stuff. Man, that guy makes a lot of money, from Nike. And Nike makes a lot of money in China, or generates a lot of money from China. So yeah, it's serious. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, those big lucrative contracts that we're seeing today, it could be significantly less. A few years down the road. So
so here it says so it gives 2 hypothetical outcomes. Basically, what happens if he opts in? So if he opts in, his 3rd year deal is worth $12.3 million.
Right. So,
that would be a year 3 salary. That would rate you an annual rate of return of 7.4%. So you're still making money. So instead of $52,000 on your initial investment, it would be $35,825. So it's still pretty good. So
as opposed to that 50 plus
52 right? Or 59 or whatever it was. So what's in it for Dinwiddie? So he raises millions in cash at the front end of his contract that he can now put to work investing immediately, basically. So he basically front loads his whole contract. The $13.5 million would be in relatively traditional vehicles. You want to be strong with your money, blah, blah, blah. So, if he can achieve a decent rate of return for those investments, he can recoup his whole debt obligation, which is interesting. So this is pretty, what do you think of the whole thing?
I mean, I was pretty impressed with his level of, his level of savvy when it comes to this stuff. I like the idea. Like you said, I think you had mentioned it earlier. It's just like maybe this is the thing that breaks down the door for the bigger thing. You know what I mean? Maybe this is not it, but maybe this kind of loosens the gears.
I don't know. It kind of could be. Because,
it could be. It very well could be.
It says, where will there be a secondary market for the token? It says not initially. It can't be traded for a year, but Dinwiddie sees a future where once there's a critical mass of athletes who have their own token, you could log into the platform and trade NBA players the way you would trade other securities. So he says here, we envision a world where you're going to be able to trade Spencer for a Kyrie Irving or for a Kevin Durant. In a lot of ways, it kind of does represent this paradigm of real fantasy sports.
Yeah.
So
who would you be selling right now? I mean, there's some guys that
in the NBA
or like in the NFL, NBA, whatever.
Well, so it's funny. I listened to a podcast that
like who you longing, who you shorting. Essentially, that's what I want to know.
I listened to a sports gambling podcast, and this is why I knew that something like this must have existed, or at least was being played around with, because he makes reference a couple times throughout some episodes without quite clearly just stating it, that he has some kind of investment in Patrick Mahomes' future. You know what I mean? Right. So now Patrick Mahomes this week got hurt. He dislocated his patellar tendon. His patellar. So his kneecap.
Is this a football player?
Yeah, he's like the hottest.
Is he?
Quarterback.
I think I've heard the name.
He was a rookie a couple years ago.
Who's
he's
he
like
play
the
for?
Hottest thing. Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
He's on the cover of Madden. So, it might be, so you might be scared now, and those weak Patrick Mahomes hands might be looking to trade him or buy low. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, I'm the same way with, on the NBA side, like Zion Williamson.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's just, he's got too much torque. He's got too much horsepower underneath the engine. He's going to hurt himself. Like it's, his body's too big. His athleticism is too good. It's just not a good mix. Like, he has the speed and agility of somebody that's 100 pounds lighter than he is. And he's got the frame of, I feel like he's like 250, 280.
He's like 280.
He's a big dude.
There was a stat that came out last year during the run where it said if he was in the NBA, he'd be the third heaviest guy in the NBA.
That's insane.
And he's like this most athletic beast.
Yeah, he's so fast and athletic. It's just, the science behind it, it's just not, it doesn't work. Like, you can't have that much mass and that much athleticism without the gears falling off. So yeah. I think he just had surgery today. He's out for like 6 to 8 weeks maybe.
Yeah. So
sell.
Here's interesting. So though Dinwiddie is a cryptocurrency enthusiast and payment for a token can be made in crypto, he's issuing the offering in a more traditional construct. The token will exist, though, on Ethereum.
Not Tron?
No, it's going to be an Ethereum token.
He's not crypto at all.
It's going to be an Ethereum token, but functionally it's a debt security. So, then it just talks about more how
risky it is and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's pretty cool. It's definitely forward thinking. I would dabble if there was a market like this.
100%. Like, I wish there was just more options. Mm-hmm. I haven't been following the career of Spencer Dinwiddie that much.
It's like real life fantasy.
100%.
Like, you'd be looking at these guys every single day.
Oh,
and you'd have like your own index of basically a fantasy team worth of index.
I'd be longing. Who would I be longing? I'm longing. You could have probably purchased some shares of Anthony Davis pretty cheap over the summer, maybe towards the end of last year. There's going to be, I'm telling you right now, I was talking a lot of shit about the Lakers winning the championship this year. That is happening. I don't know if it's on the record. If LeBron James and Anthony Davis are healthy in the playoffs, everybody's fucked. Like, I don't care about Kawhi and Paul George. If you know basketball and if you have watched LeBron James and Anthony Davis play together, it is insane. Maybe the best duo in the history of basketball. Not even joking.
Wow, it's not
hyperbole at all. It's What are you on right now, by the way?
So I just finished a coffee crisp.
Ooh, that might be my. That's up there.
It's like a larger. It's kind of like a larger Kit Kat because it's got that cookie-ish,
like a wafer layer.
Yeah, wafery layer. Yeah. But it's got some kind of nice coffee notes to it.
Yes,
it's very good.
That's a go-to for me. I
actually ate one with my coffee the other day. It was delightful.
That's flavor country right there.
So I'm on the last one here, which is a Wonder Bar. Mm-hmm. A Wonder Bar I can only describe as a soft caramelly Butterfinger. So it's like
so good.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Butterfinger, but it's caramelly and soft, and it's delicious.
It's honestly, that one's my favorite. That's right. A Wonder Bar combines like there's a little bit of crunch. There's a good amount of
My
peanut.
dad kept saying it in German the other day.
Wunderbar, yeah, absolutely.
That's what he was on it.
Yeah, this is what you have to say after you eat one. They are so delicious.
So, while we're doing our last segment here, I'm going to go through my rankings afterwards.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you them yours as well. And we'll see where we differ. So, we have one more segment here, right?
Yeah, let's...
You're going to walk us through it?
We're calling this one the Kramer's Heisenberg formula.
I don't know, but I woke up in the Hudson River in a sack.
This all stems from this morning. Once we get going in CT, we don't like to stop. So this is based on my tweet saying I wasn't sure if I was looking at Walter White or Kramer, the underwear model. So today I'm going to give you some famous quotes from both Walter White and Cosmo Kramer, and you just tell me who's who and who said what, and we'll go from there. And by the way, as I was looking for this, the reason I called it the Kramer's Heisenberg formula is when I was Googling Heisenberg and Kramer, this came up. There's an actual, the scientist that the Heisenberg character is based on, Werner Heisenberg, actually had an associate named Hendrik Kramer, and they came up with a formula together, a super intelligent quantum mechanic formula. But I thought that was pretty funny as well. So weird. Stay out of my territory is the quote.
Oh man, that's tough because because it seems like it could be Heisenberg because there's drug dealing involved, but there's also some episodes of Seinfeld where like Kramer gets himself into these basically turf wars. I'm actually going to go Kramer.
I don't know.
That one unfortunately was a Walter White.
That should have been too easy. I overthought the room on that one.
I did the same thing. Don't worry. All right, let's go with another one here. We're going to go with the universe is random, not inevitable. It's simple chaos. I'm gonna go back, or actually, I'm gonna say Walter White on that one.
You're goddamn right.
That is correct.
It sounds scientific.
It is scientific. I tried to find one that was possibly. All right, let's go with. Now, what does the little man inside you say? You gotta listen to the little man.
Man, I don't know what that could be either one. I'm going to go with Kramer.
That is correct. That is Cosmo Kramer.
All right, I'm good at this.
All right.
Yeah, I'm better at this than whatever the other one was that I got smoked in.
I forget what the other one was, but yes, you did get smoked. All right. Moles. Freckles' ugly cousin.
I'm pretty sure I'm almost 90% sure that's a Kramer quote.
That is correct. That is a Kramer quote. To me, that one kind of sounded scientific as well. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, or it could have been like talking about a mole, like somebody snitching.
You're a calculating, cold-hearted businessman. And when there's dirty work to be done, you don't mind stomping on a few throats.
Oh, man, I can't picture Kramer saying that. I'm going Heisenberg.
I don't know.
It's Kramer.
What?
I have to come clean. I changed it a little bit. So what I changed is I changed businessman I changed it to businessman from businesswoman. Kramer's talking to Elaine and he says, "Yeah, because you're perfect. You're a calculating, cold-hearted businesswoman." And then
I still probably would have guessed Walter White because I would have thought he was talking to
the lawyer. Or
yeah,
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The chick that works at the corporation.
Right, exactly. The stevia chick.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
What's my score? Do you know?
No, you're doing pretty good, though. Oh, I got a good one for you here. Smoking marijuana, eating Cheetos, and masturbating do not constitute plans in my book.
It's got to be Walter White.
You're goddamn right.
That is Walter White to Jesse Pinkman.
I was going to say it's got to be.
A classic line. All right, I'm going to give you one more here. Let's see. Well, you know what they say. You don't sell the steak, you sell the sizzle.
Kramer.
That is Kramer.
Yes.
You did pretty good on that one. It was kind of hard because some of these quotes are so iconic. It's almost impossible. Like, there's if you're going through
Right,
Kramer,
I am the one who cocks. And,
Jerry, my face is my livelihood, my lure, my twinkle. Everything I have, I owe to my face. But yeah, so I think pretty good. Did pretty good on that one, buddy.
Thanks. That was fun. I'm good at Seinfeld, I think, so... that's
right.
up my alley.
Let's land this plane, shall we?
We shall. So that's going to do it for us. Follow our new project, Coin HQ. So I was talking to Digi today, and we're talking about potentially trying to put together some Twitter giveaway campaigns to, grow the account and get people out knowing what Coin HQ is going to be. So follow that account. What is the handle? At CoinHQ_?
You got it, buddy.
Cool. And then also follow us because, we're okay.
Yeah, we're followable. We're not going to send you dick pics.
We will.
I mean, I might. I can't see. Bunchu won't. He's a good man.
I won't. No,
but I mean, who knows? I get crazy on the weekend, so maybe follow just Bunchu in the show. Don't follow me.
I'm gonna tweet out a dick pic from the REKT podcast account as soon as we are done with this.
I wanted to tag MeUndies in that post so bad. Because I don't know about you,
great.
I have definitely switched my whole wardrobe to MeUndies, and
I've never tried.
I'm telling. Everything just looks better. You look better. You look like you know what you're doing. It's
really?
Yeah, it's not tidy whities. You got some good patterns. Everything's accentuated. You're looking like a stud down there. I'm telling you. MeUndies, go get some. That's an unpaid advertisement.
I can't believe it. Like they just got that for free.
That's free. That is. I've heard a lot of MeUndies ads. By far, mine was the best. It's not even close. That was the best ad they've ever received from a podcast.
I'm live tweeting out a dick pic. It's coming at you.
Oh my goodness. Hello. We're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, I just did it.
That's an old dick. It's got white hair on it and everything. Gross.
Are you gonna? Do you want to explain what I just did? Or?
No. They definitely have to go and figure it out.
Jesus, was that too rude?
No, it's funny. It's funny because then they'll have to go and find it.
Okay.
So, if you want to know, if you want to see that gross, ugly dick that I just saw, follow at REKT_podcast.
I think it's actually also. Is it a dead dick?
No, I think a living dick. I think I looked it up the other day because I thought he was also dead. But a living.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Honestly, for the age, the dick looks great.
It's a 93-year-old dick.
It doesn't look a day over 71.
And that's gonna do it for us. Until next time, don't get wrecked, and that is financial advice.